Who was on the Dipset?
Dame's impact on the Dipset was nothing.
What his impact was in Harlem?
Dame impact in Harlem was nothing. Not to say it like that. Dame came up under hustlers that impact was it. He was a little dude when it came to hustling in Harlem. He wasn't not no Rich Porter, none of that type of. He wanted to hustle. He wanted to hustle for niggas like Rich Porter and shit like that. Dame from the East Side. When the niggas on the East Side is different from the niggas on the West Side. Now for the East Side, Dame was a big deal to us because we were little. When he was coming from the West Side, little car, jewelry, and all that. So when you're young, he's looking like Rich Porter, but in reality, you know, he was like this nigga, go to the store, nigga, take a couple grams, get out of here. Not to take nothing away from him. You heard?
But with him bringing Dip in to the Roc-A-Fella.
You're talking about two different things. You're talking about the streets and you're talking about the music and shit like that.
No, I was talking about the streets.
I'm not saying he wasn't a hustler in the streets.
Right.
You heard? But he wasn't the big dog, nigga. He wasn't that nigga. He just had a couple packs like everybody else in Harlem. You heard? His name doesn't ring bells for being the hustlers in Harlem. He made a movie called Paid in Full. He wasn't in the movie.
Right.
His character was nowhere in that movie. So I don't want people to get up here and be like, yo, he's trying to do something. No,
tell your man
nigga.
with a something.
He was.
Dame is in the movie. What are you talking about? Dame isn't Paid in Full. When they pull up to the light. Dame dash. Yeah, right here.
Give me. Oh, everything all right, man? It's that new shit, man. White man, B.
Right here. Yeah, so he is in the movie. Well, I don't know if he's playing himself.
He was just an actor.
Yeah, in the code. Yeah, you know,
the movie's about Rich Porter and all those guys. Dame's. There's not a character in that movie. He's not a Rich Porter. They didn't change Dame name to Kane or Kane. They changed Rich name to Mitch.
Right.
You heard? Like, he wasn't one of those figures. He was a hustler growing up adoring those type of figures.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
No, for sure.
You dig? So that's why he grew up putting on for Harlem, because he was outside during the golden era trying to make his way like all the other big dogs in Harlem. He was there firsthand, hustling, putting on. Yeah, he had cars. Yeah, they had girls. Yeah, but
that was no different.
He made his making the music and was able to paint the picture that was going on in Harlem.
See,
about how niggas was
crazy,
hustling and shit like that. And they made their money.
Aaron.
They did their numbers. But in that era,
right.
You heard?
That's
By the
crazy.
time it got to the Jay-Z thing, that didn't even count. They were doing music. You heard?
Jim Jones did, and he said that you're not a boss, you're a worker. What do you have to say about that?
You know, someone called me about that, and I laughed because it's ridiculous, but I felt like Jim must have been giving me an alley-oop to front on him, so I will.
Okay, you're invited, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. When I was 15-year-old, I would guess their perspective, because he was a young man, I was big time to him. Because I was 15-year-old and I was doing things that most 15-year-olds weren't doing. And the people that he's rapping about in a lot of his records, like Rich Porter and Lou Sims, these are people I actually used to hustle with. Now, at 15, I'm not gonna say I was a legend at hustling. I wasn't, I was 15. But the people that we were looking up to, by the time I got to their age, I had definitely made more money than them, and I was more impactful as it relates to culture, because it wasn't being known for selling drugs. I was never known for selling drugs. But what you won't do, you could ask Lou Sims if he ever sent me to the store, or ask anybody that you know that was in that world that ever sent me to the store. See, I never hustled with Jim, and I don't think he ever bought a car till it was with rap money. It was never a street thing. Okay. I knew him as Jomo, and it's not a bad thing. It was his name, and he was like an 8-year-old, like a younger kid running around with a clip-on tie, and he lived in 1199 at Dave's house, because I guess they're, whatever it was, he lived. So I never really knew him as, like, growing up. He was always a little kid.
Yeah.
But Fredo, Cameron brought him around, and I was like, yeah, all right, it's Jomo. But he's done what he's had to do, but, you know, he wasn't there to say that. But if he could tell you with Jomo, and he was like, well, and he admitted this, well, he has a crib we go to, we just using him, blah, blah, and say that. Like Dookie, I used to hustle with Dookie. He was my lieutenant.
Not Dookie. I thought he was calling the man Dookie.
Yeah, you were wrong. Pause.
Pause.
Dookie, Duke the God is, we call him Dookie, Paul.
Okay.
But Duke the God is with the Dipset. I used to hustle with him.
Okay.
You could ask, all getting money.
Yeah.
But again, I'm pretty impressed with who I am and who I was and the things I did. And the fact that the people rap about are the people that I actually hustle with and actually was able to go another direction. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for him, he knows the algorithm.
Yeah.
And you know, when you say Dame Dash, you go viral. And
I was gonna
appreciate
ask you if
I
that, do you
appreciate
think that
Jim
was
saying
more
that
a reason for
so
it?
that he could, so that I could actually have a reason to talk about who I was and tell people to look under the hood. But if you know a 15, 16-year-old, and another thing is because I used to hang out uptown. So people from downtown, I'm from 1199, they weren't usually allowed to go uptown and hustle. And I was on one of the wildest blocks on the, at the time in Harlem. So I got to make it out of a real circumstance. I didn't wait to get the rap to start to get money. I didn't him if he ever seen someone send me to the store, but I was always known in the position as somewhat of a boss. And all I did was pass the plug to them. They were like, they always looked up to me at that time. But I was never big time as a drug dealer, but I did have a crew called The Best Out. And we were the youngest crew, and we were legendary. We was wait to get the rap to start being tough. None of those things. And, you can look under the hood. So I appreciate him bringing it up.
So
and
was
to the extent that I've made G stories, it's about my friends. The people, like, again, y'all making records about Rich, but he really did hit us with work. I was there. If you wasn't there, it's hard to talk about it. To be obsessed and infatuated in such a way that you think to be a person is to go to jail, get killed, and be famous for it for a very short run, that's not what I wanted to be known for. But you could find somebody that sent me to the store, I'd like to know. My paid in full.
Yo, what's going on, man? Yo, what the heck is going on now, man? Yo, this Harlem, Dame, like just when it's like beef everywhere, or they just playing, you know what I mean? Jim Jones, man, I guess he know. It keeps your name. It keeps your name. If he go speak on somebody, shoot, it's gonna keep his name going. It's gonna keep this thing going, whatever he's trying to do. But I'm looking at it like, man, like you inviting something new, but you inviting the trouble, you inviting the nonsense. But the nonsense probably bringing them some money at this point. So the money's bringing the money. So this thing is bringing the money. So I guess you figure like, man, okay, you know what? Whichever way, man. So this dude call out Dame, and Dame couldn't wait to come back at him, man. But you know what I'm saying? I think, say what you will about Dame, man. Like he did, whatever he did with his money. You know what I mean? Over the years, it seems like, he done, spent it all or whatever it have you. I don't know the man's pockets or how it's really going on, but I think, when you're looking at it, it's like he's always, like things always seems bad. Like whenever you're hearing about him financially, he's doing bad or whatever. And it's just interesting to me, like how, like he was, man, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it's like, he was our guy, from when you're looking at it, he was our guy, getting money and, people talk about him like, man, he would not wear the same sneakers every day or the same shirts every day. He always had something new. So, I mean, that's his legacy. That's his legacy, man. And I think it's like now, it seems like since the money done ran out or whatever the perception. So it's not even, what's crazy though? It's not even the money. It's not even if the money is there or money's not there, but it's just the perception of him may not having it. You know what I mean? That's the crazy part about this thing we talking about, like when we talking about hip hop, when we talking about this thing where this culture we live in, because it's all about you know, what you can see. If you can't see it, if you can't show it off anymore, then you don't have it. You know what I mean? And I think he's trapped. You know, Dame Dash is trapped in this situation because he can't show what he used to. And I see at times he'll try to show, but then he really can't because he owes certain people. He owes a lot of people, and these people want to get paid. So if you say you don't have nothing and then you don't show it, then you're gonna want to try to show it, pardon me, and then now they're gonna be like, well, you do have something. So he can't even show it even if he had it. But anyway, man, let's get back to it, man. Like, yo, so Jim called him out and said he was a store runner, man. He was, yo, it just don't, it's funny, man. It's funny because, you know, trigger words, man. Like, we got to start watching, you know, we all, you know, this is something where it's like when you sit back and looking at it, you're like, yo, what, I mean, if you call me a store runner 20 years ago or freaking, 40 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, so what? But I guess, you know, with Dame, you know, his legacy, man, he's looking at it like, shoot, at this point, this is all he got, his legacy. You know what I mean? It's all he got. And this, you know, this dude calling him out. But where does this beef comes from? Who knows what happens, man? It's just, but now I think, like I said, Jim Jones done found a way. He done found a way to just keep his name going. You know what I mean? You can say what you will about him. He know how to keep the name going. And I don't know if that's, you know, if that's healthy for you know, for in the long run. You know what I mean? But I guess it has been working for him, you know what I mean? So you can't say it hasn't, because the minute he opened his mouth and say certain things and certain words, and it's just like, oh, everybody start talking about it. Listen, right now I'm talking about it. But anyway, man, they ain't talking about it. He like, man, nah, I ain't no runner, you know what I mean? I hustled with these guys. I did, you know, so he like, man, yeah, I was there. So, which is if he was there, that's a good thing. But one thing that I noticed, man, Dame was, you know, he kind of says, man, like, I wasn't trying to do 100 years or even die just behind some drugs. You know what I mean? I sold drugs, but, you know, I became a better man than all these guys. Like, all these guys, you know, I made more money than them. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, his run, he's like, yo, he was more impactful. And I respect that, because, you know why? Because you don't have to be a drug dealer, man. Like, that don't make you, you know, like you know, that doesn't make you or break you. I maybe break you, because a lot of these guys, man, you know, family broken, death in the family, and death in every family. But when you're dealing with these drug things, man, a lot of people, man, it's just a terrible life to live, and to see, like, this is what we talking about, where it's like, you wasn't this big kingpin that you perceiving to be, but it's like, okay, so, but I guess it's like the truth. It's just a badge of honor, you know, when you're dealing with the streets. It's like, you know, you can't just be saying you was this and you was that, because people died for it. So at this point, you can't just be claiming nothing, because if you wasn't really that, you can't be claiming it on. You know, I understand where James Jones coming in at, and he's speaking on like, yo, he was just another, whatever it is. He's like, to us, yeah, he looked like he was doing something, but to you know, when we talking about Harlem, when we talking about the kingpins, the young kingpins, the dudes that he was portraying and paid in full, is like, he wasn't them guys. And I guess, yeah, so you could say that, but then you also got to give respect to the man, you know, because he able to pull a classic out of this whole thing, you know what I mean? So he's in, and he said he was hustling around them, and he wasn't as big as them, but he was hustling around them. He might have had packs, these guys might have hit him with packs, but he never was a runner. He was doing his thing. He had his own crew. So but I think it's more or less like, man, this is, you know, when we talking about Harlem, we talking about this, the certain type of like drug dealers. These guys was the epitome of like the street kingpins. You talking about keys upon keys, you know, millions of dollars involved in this, you know what I mean? So when we talking about Dame probably like, shoot, I probably was making a little 100,000 here and there, but which is a lot of money. Well, you know, when you're dealing with these other guys who was on their peak, who was doing their thing, you can't even compare. But this guy was able to overcome all that, not go to jail, not get killed, and being able to be the person that put this thing on the map. You know what I mean? These guys was, you know, they lived a life. Many of them went to jail. Others, you know, they got killed. And this guy was able to bring everybody back to life with just one movie. And I think that's honorable. You know what I mean? That's honorable for, you know, to see that, to be like, okay, yeah, these are the guys, okay. And he's saying he wasn't in the movie. Well, he was in the movie. He was in a movie. It doesn't matter if he was in a movie, if his character was in a movie back in the days. He's in the movie now. He made the movie. So, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's like, Jim just, you just don't be, you know, he just, when he said what he says what he said. And I may not understand it. People may not understand it. But he's saying something. And it's also like, yo, it's true. He's also telling the truth. Like, yo, bro, you wasn't who you claiming to be. But then at the same time, he's like, I'm not trying to belittle him, but you are belittling him. You know what I mean? So because he ran out of money, it's like, seems like you could just say anything about the guy. You know what I mean? But, you know, before, I've never heard you win against him. But I don't know what happened before, what happened now. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Man, what y'all think about that, man? Like, it's just like, this thing is just never stop, man. Never stop. These guys this thing just never stop, man. It never stop. These guys, the older they get, the more petty they just get at, you know what I mean? Because it's like they just maybe now found out, like, oh shoot, there's something called algorithm. The way we do it is just we have to go to each other. I don't know, man. History doesn't, you know, it doesn't get, you know, rewritten when everybody's winning, man. You know what I mean? It gets rewritten when the money dries up, man. Yo, this dude try to rewrite the history of Dame, and Dame, you know, he's like, man, heck no, you're not gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that. You're not gonna just take my name and just make it sound like it's nothing, you know, and you know, it's crazy, man. The rooms get smaller, man. The same people who once, you know, sat next to you, man, they shoot. You know, they start talking about you like you were never, you know, at the seat of the table at some point, man. Come on, man. Dame was at the seat of the table at one point or another, man. Like, and he knows that. But not Jim, but I mean, like, Dash, you know, like, he was there. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was the man at one point. But it's crazy. Money just makes you the man to certain people, you know. And that's when words get sharp, man. That's when labels are turned into weapons, man. It's crazy, man. But that's when, you know, one word, just one, man, can undo years of respect. Runner, man. He calling him a runner. The runner, it's kind of like, you know, telling you know, them dudes, man, who still have feelings right now about Diddy, telling them, yo, go run and go get this cheesecake, man. He like, man, I was no runner. You know what I'm saying? Them guys like, man, I was never a runner. Ask any one of them gangsters that I was around. And I tend to believe him, you know what I'm saying? I tend to believe him because I've never heard of him being no runner. And if he was a runner, so why? At least he was in the game, right? But I don't know. You know, James didn't yell it, though. He didn't even dramatize. There was no drama. He wasn't even saying it like he was angry, neither. He just said it, he just casually, you know, like it was a common knowledge. Like, we all knew about it, man. Like, I don't think everybody knew about that, but now we done find out Dame wasn't no big drug dealer. He like, man, heck no. He was a store runner. He was running to the stores, and that's all he did. Nah, I don't think he said that's all he did, but he said it like that, man. To the untrained ear, man, that sounds harmless. You know what I'm saying? But in the world, man, the era we in, what he stand for, what he trying to be standing for. I mean, he like, man, heck no, man. I shoot, you ain't gonna be calling me no runner. I may not have the money that I had before, but shoot, you're not gonna be playing with my name, which is all I got. And I, shoot, you remember when watching The Wire, and this guy saying, my name is my name. You're gonna have dudes. So I guess you can't have nobody talking about your name, you know what I mean, in a way where it's gonna, like, shoot, you gonna call me a runner, man. I'm a boss. I've been a boss, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy. On one side, the man who decides, man. On the other side, the man who executes, man. Boss, or he a runner? Is he a boss? Is he a runner? You know what I'm saying? It seems like he been doing boss moves. You know what I'm saying? But the money may not equate with the moves he's been making, but it doesn't mean he's not a boss. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean, being called a runner isn't about money, man. It's about rank, man. He's calling them rank. He's calling them, it's about rank. And he's like, man, I'm calling your rank, man. You wasn't that. You wasn't that. You were just a runner. You didn't do what you put. But I never heard Dame saying nothing, though. I might be wrong, but I've never heard him saying anything where he's like, yo, I was this big drug dealer. He just said, yo, I was getting money. I was been getting money. Yo, it's crazy, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Let me be clear, man. It was never a runner for nobody. That's what they was like, man. I've never been a runner, man. I don't wake up and serve other man's vision. That's not what I do. You know what I mean? That's not what I do. That's what he said. He's like, man, that's not what I do, man. He didn't say I sold more. He didn't say I made more money. He didn't say I was bigger. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people, when you think about it, man, people confusing him, being underneath because he was present don't mean he was placed. He was, what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they put him there and say, yo, here, go ahead, you go be the runner. He's like, yo, I was hustling. I was getting mines. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man, when you think about it, man. Like, these two guys, man, it's not even real. I'm not even falling for it no more. These guys is just talking and running their mouth and they just know. I mean, he called Dame, so Dame had to respond to protect his name. And Dame, he chuckled about it, though. He also said, he's like, yeah, you know what? That's an alley-oop, man. Now I get to talk about him. That's so I think Dame done study the what it is that these guys is doing, the 50s, the Jim Jones, like they'll just call your name out and you just be sitting there like, yo, what the hell you calling my name for? Instead of getting mad, he like, you know what? I can come back and having, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just come back and just chop them up, lyric, on just talking, just throwing shots at one another. So he understands it, you know what I mean? But I'm like, yeah, man, I think it's a sad day. It's a sad day to see, man. It's sad because you're looking at him like, man, maybe there's no money in there, man. There's no money. Like, you don't see Jay-Z calling out anybody, like, dudes who's getting to the bag, really. Like, you don't hear them talking about, yo, man, this person ain't doing this. Cause why? They getting money on a secret tip. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Cause I don't know. Cause I don't know how much money is really involved when dudes gotta call dudes out and, yo, you wasn't a drug dealer, you was this, it's like, you know what? But then I'll be like, okay, everybody gotta get it the way they gotta get it, man. But I see the way them Dash did what he did, answer and came back. He wasn't having it. But then at the same time, he understood the play. He like, man, you know what? This is the play. This is how that's how you trying to do me. You trying to play me. You trying to minimize what I was doing. Say less, man. I'm just going to do me. I did me. You know what I'm saying? I never said I was a big drug dealer, but I was never a runner neither. So cut it out, man. But, and I'm like, all right, you know what? That's just, okay, let's see what's gonna happen next. Who's gonna go back? Who's gonna go back? Cause this thing is crazy. Cause it's like, I thought Jim was only beefing with 50. I thought the beef with K-Mon was over, but now it's like, hey, he beefing with Dame Dash now? Like, what the heck going on? So it's like clashing all over the place. And I think they're just keeping this thing going, man. Keeping us entertained. I just wish there was some hip hop involved. I just wish this thing would turn around. But hey, we whatever they give us, we take and whatever, man. Just let me know what y'all think, man. Peace, man. Yeah.